Nearman Condition, the home of collected editions.
That cover's so awesome.
Absolute format is the best way to own this store. Time to empty those wallets and fill those shelves. How's it going, all you mentees? Uncanny Omar here from Nearman Condition, the home of collected editions. And join me today for my advance look at the Secret Wars by Jonathan Hickman Omnibus from Marvel Comics. So let's find out what is in this book exactly. Before going any further, a big thank you to David Gabriel and the fine folks at Marvel for sending us an advance copy of this omnibus. This omnibus is due out in the direct market and book market on February 4th or 5th, depending on where you get your books. What we're looking at here is actually one of the direct market covers. This is the one that is supplied by Jim Chung. Now, there are two other covers because this is one of two direct market covers. So first, on the left-hand side is your standard edition cover, and that is the one that is supplied by Alex Ross and features two characters that play a huge part in this story. And on the right-hand side is your other direct market cover, and that is supplied by Alex Ross, featuring this huge battle that's about to take place in the Marvel Universe. And oh my gosh, should I just say universes? Let's just leave it at that. Now, everything underneath the dust jacket is the same. So we have Secret Wars up there by Jonathan Hickman, and then we have Stefano Caselli, Mike Deodato Jr., Esad Ribic, and Kev Walker taking the top billing. Marvel Omnibus Secret Wars by Jonathan Hickman, Caselli, Deodato Jr., Ribic, and Walker, and then that image of Mr. Fantastic. And then this image from Alex Ross, the biggest Marvel event of them all, Secret Wars, a tale that both casual and dedicated Marvel readers can equally enjoy. Yeah, if you like big events. Now, this is not to be mistaken with the classic Secret Wars, the Marvel superhero Secret Wars that came out in the 80s, nor the follow-up Secret Wars 2. This is the 2015 series. So if you've been keeping up with like the Hickman universe of Marvel, it really started with S.H.I.E.L.D., and then, of course, there's Secret Warriors, and then it went on to the Fantastic Four, and then Avengers, or what some of us call hickvengers, and then that leads into Secret Wars. This omnibus is really interesting the way that it's mapped, and it is a Hickman mapping in every possible way. But before I go any further, just to clarify some things, there's another omnibus that is coming out in February that also has the Secret Wars label. However, this is Battle World. So this is different than this omnibus. This omnibus features the worlds that are created during the 2015 event, and it is different than the Secret Wars omnibus. So that is something that I wanted to clarify for people, because especially when both books are released on the same month, it can get a little confusing. This is Secret World's Battle World, and this is Secret Wars by Jonathan Hickman. The worlds in here are because of this big event that happens here. So now that I got that out of the way, there was a oversized hardcover that came out, I think in 2016, if I'm not mistaken. And all of this is collected in here. So to kind of give you an idea, in case you have this, I am going to be talking about what exactly is in this omnibus right here. And I'll do a little comparison too to that in Hickvengers Volume 2. Underneath the dust jacket, or let's look at the flaps here, Secret Wars, Jonathan Hickman's Marvel Magnum Opus. Oh my gosh, everything leads to this. A little bio on the creators, like Jonathan Hickman, Stefano Caselli, Mike Deodato Jr., Esad Ribic, and Kev Walker. And this image by Esad Ribic of Universes Just Ending. Woo! Now, I am going to crack this omnibus open and talk about what is collected in here, show off the artwork. I'm going to give you the pitch of the stories and then look at the extras together. All right, let's go ahead and open up the omnibus. You have some black end sheets. Surprised they're not white. Well, maybe because of this. And here are your credits. Jonathan Hickman. And who was the artist on these big chunks of books? Jim Chung, Valerio Schitti, Stefano Caselli, Kev Walker, Dalibor Talajak, Mike Mayhew, Paul Renaud, Esad Ribic, and also the talents of Simon Kudransky. And also, you are credited with the inkers here, the letters like Joker Magnum, and colors by Frank Martin and David Curiel, just to name a few. So this omnibus collects Avengers, the 2012 Avengers, 35 through 44, New Avengers, that's the 2013 New Avengers, 24 to 33, Free Comic Book Day 2015, Secret Wars 0, the A Story, and Secret Wars 1 through 9. This book has 864 pages and retails for $100. Now, if you're looking at the contents of the book and thinking, wait a second, don't I already have some of this stuff? All of the Avengers and New Avengers is collected in Hickvengers Omnibus Volume 2, or Avengers by Jonathan Hickman Volume 2. I better start calling things by the right name so people don't get confused. So in Avengers by Jonathan Hickman Volume 2 is where you're going to have all of these issues in here. And Secret Wars, as I mentioned, has been collected in an oversized hardcover. It is not part of the Avengers by Jonathan Hickman Volume 2. So the question is, why include all the Avengers and New Avengers in here? Remember when I said that this is a Hickvenger map book, or a Jonathan Hickman map book? It's exactly that. Jonathan Hickman mapping these stories in here so you don't get any covers, just like you do with all of his books. All the covers are in the back, so it's like you're reading one big novel, and that's the experience he wants you to have. So these are the stories that make up the ending of his Avengers Hickman run, and that is the Time Runs Out. And Time Runs Out, I guess before I go and explain what that is, spoilers for what happened previously, because everything has been building up to this point. I'm not going to go into deep details as to what happens at the end of this or how we get to Secret Wars, but I do have to talk about how it ties into that Secret Wars and why this is important. And then, of course, I'll talk a little bit about Secret Wars without going too much into deep details, but I do have to talk about some minor spoilers, or to some people spoilers, because anytime you turn a page is a spoiler. All right, during this time, 8 months has passed since the previous storyline. And we left it on a huge cliffhanger where Iron Man was in custody of the Swans, and Captain America is pissed at Iron Man because of the Illuminati. So in the 8 months' times that have passed, Captain America has declared Iron Man and the Illuminati enemies of the Avengers. So much so that they are now hunting down those Avengers, or I guess the Illuminati Avengers, if you will. So the characters that were in New Avengers. Now, that's Captain America, and then you have the Illuminati. The other stuff that's going on right now is Roberto da Costa, Sunspot, has formed his own Avengers. He's bought out AIM. I love how much he gives a spotlight to that character, because Roberto da Costa is one of my all-time favorites. He has bought out AIM, and they're trying to figure out a solution for something that Hickman has been building up right before his Infinity crossover in the Avengers books that he wrote. And that is something called the Incursion. So the Incursion is like the world's ending. It's a bunch of the multiverse, whatever you want to call them, different dimensions coming together, and there can only be one, and then sometimes worlds are destroyed. So some of these characters that have been appearing through the pages here of New Avengers and Avengers by Hickman were from different Earths, from a different universe. One of those, and the biggest one that a lot of people probably go to when they think of something like this, is the Ultimate Universe, the original Ultimate Universe, not to be confused with the new Ultimate Universe. Woo! If you're already getting confused, boy, hold on to your butts, because it gets a lot more confusing, and I love it. So everybody has a big part to play in this. So if the universes are ending, then we need to start forming alliances. And that's what happens through here. You have the Cabal. So Namor had done some horrible things that he does feel responsible for. So he almost feels like he needs to turn the Cabal in, which is a group of villain versions of the Illuminati, if you will, with Namor. And he had done something. And they do talk about it here. So it feels like at first you're thrown into this big fight that's been happening between the Avengers, but the more you read, the more you catch up on everything that's happened. Like, especially when you have characters like Doctor Doom and the Molecule Man, Owen here, playing a big part in this. Now that, of course, is a big homage to the original Secret Wars, where Molecule Man and Doctor Doom played a huge part in that. But you get other characters like Starbrand and Manifold and Hyperion that play huge parts in all of this. So war has broken out between the Avengers. Nobody is trusting anyone else. We start to figure out exactly who these Ivory Kings are and who the Black Priests are. And there are secrets. There are twists and turns as to who the Ivory Kings are that play an important part in what will be Secret Wars. Where the hell is Strange? Where is Doctor Strange? Well, Doctor Strange has actually been building his own team as well. Now, the one thing, and it happens in the original Omnibus, and in this, that is not explained, that I wish they had a little bit of a footnote, is things are going on in these characters' own comics. In the pages of Rick Remender's Captain America turned old. You can find out by reading that book. I mean, that is the beauty of sharing a universe. Things are constantly happening, but it's not explained here, and there's not the editor little footnote that's like, go and read Captain America by Rick Remender. There's also the Superior Iron Man, which I wish they would have explained a little bit. And again, not a little footnote that's like, hey, go and read Exodus by Rick Remender. So that's what's happening through here. You're going to be thrown into what is currently happening in their own run, plus this big fight they're having. And there is a little bit of a time jump, too. And when that time jump happens, it almost feels like a Days of Future, I don't want to say past, because it's not that bad, but in hindsight, when you're looking at the ending of all the universes, of all the multiverse, the Infinity and Thanos and the Black Order really are nothing compared to what is coming, and something huge is coming. Now, of course, if our universe is aware that the universes are ending, what about the other worlds? Aren't they also aware that the universes are ending? Oh, of course they are. So if you were a fan of the Ultimate Universe, the Maker plays a huge part in this. And I'm not going to reveal who the Maker is in case you haven't read the Ultimate Universe, the original Ultimate Universe at that. But it is also revealed here who the Maker is. So there are betrayals. There are alliances that are made because Doctor Doom gets involved. Thanos and his Black Order, including Terrax, gets involved. The Inhumans get involved. The Shi'ar come because they figure out, okay, wait, maybe it is a good thing that Earth is ending. Maybe that is the only way to keep the universes alive. So there's a lot of twists and turns and characters that are self-important playing a part in this. And it all leads to a huge climactic ending. There's a big fight between Avengers and some of the villains. And when the worlds are ending and when the universes are colliding, there's going to be just one. So a lot of people compare this to the Crisis on Infinite Earths, the original one, and I completely see that. However, it's a little bit more confusing than that, I think. So after you read the Avengers, again, this is done in a perfect reading order to get you to Secret Wars. After you read Avengers and New Avengers and the big fights happen, we kick off the 9-issue miniseries that's collected in here, and that is Secret Wars. So we start off with the free comic book day with Valeria explaining to the Future Foundation that, again, just spoilers for like the first 1.5 issues in here, that our Earth is doomed. There's no way we can save it, so we need to just build a spaceship to take the most important people on it because we can't save this Earth. We got to go and find another Earth. There are other characters that are trying to build a new Earth for us to live in, and then characters that refuse to give up. And man, this is when all kinds of twists and turns and betrayals happen, and I freaking am all over this. I love this story right here. So in the very first issue, again, you can't tell it's the first issue, but at least there's a couple of chapter breaks. You can tell the difference in art, too, with Esad Ribic. You have Doctor Doom that is teaming up with Molecule Man again, and Doctor Strange. And both of them, or I'm sorry, all three of them now, are going to confront what they believe is their last-ditch effort to try to save the multiverse. And I don't want to go and explain who they go and confront, because what's happening during the first issue is there's going to be an incursion. And the incursion is between our Earth. I keep calling it our Earth, but it's the one I've been reading since I was a kid. The 616 universe. The one that started in 1961 with the Fantastic Four. And the 1610 universe, which is the original Ultimate Universe. So you are going to be seeing characters like Miles Morales through here. And what happens when these universes are about to collide and there can only be one? Lots of characters die through here because things are about to be rewritten. But one of the most biggest and important things that happens through here, and again, this is a spoiler for what happens towards the end of issue 1 of Secret Wars. Please do not watch any further if you don't want to know. Just jump to the part where I talk about the extras. Okay, what ends up happening is there's a darkness that comes. A darkness after the two Earths kind of fade to white. So it's inevitable. It's going to happen. No matter how many of these people try to stop it, no matter these ships that they try to get off, things are just ending. And the only thing that remains is Doctor Doom's mask. And then it turns to black. The Marvel Universe, 1961 and 2015. The Ultimate Universe, 2000 and 2015. Nothing. So what's the rest of this miniseries about? The world, our universe, everything has been rebuilt into one. And sitting at the throne is God Emperor Doom. So Doom is now the ruler of this world. And remember when I said that other omnibus, the Secret Wars Battle Worlds, feeds off of what's happening here? Those Battle Worlds are little mini-series. They're pocket universes that are in between walls of this big universe, of this big planet. And there you're going to find stories like Age of Apocalypse and Old Man Logan, Days of Future Past, what's the ladies team, the Avengers, anyway, all sorts of miniseries that are coming out, and they're going to be collected in omnibus format. No word of a volume 2 yet. So immediately with issue number 2, the world is different. There's a Thor Corp, there's an old Thor, there's a young Thor, and a bunch of Thor Corp members. And you have characters that aren't the same. Like you have Jamie Braddock right now being the Captain Britain. Bar Sinister, so even Sinister plays a role. There's a lot of key players through here playing a huge role, and each one of them coming from different battle worlds. And then, of course, everything is ruled by this God Emperor Doom. And that's all I will say about it. So if you're a fan of like the multiverses that Marvel has had in their comic books, you're going to absolutely love this crossover, especially when it gets to the ending. So that's all I will say about it. Let's welcome everybody back that didn't want any kind of spoilers. And look at the extras. So this is where the covers are. Remember when I said that Jonathan Hickman likes for his books to be read like a big prose? Yeah. The extras are the covers and the variant covers. 99% of the time you have an omnibus collection or an oversized hardcover collection, they put the covers in front of the chapters before the issue. Unless it's Jonathan Hickman mapping the books out, or unless it's a Robert Kirkman Skybound type of collection, they always put the covers in the back. And I know it bothers some people, so I did want to make people aware of that. It's the same way that the Avengers by Jonathan Hickman is done. So the variant covers are all back here, the toy covers, the covers that don't make any sense at all because they weren't part of this, and your end sheets. So let's look at the binding. 864 pages printed at the Donnelly printer. And there's just a little bit of bleed through happening when there's white pages or light colors, but not much. And then, of course, the way the book lays over with minimal gutter loss. So what I want to do is actually compare it. The Avengers Omnibus Volume 2 by Jonathan Hickman. This is the one that was also printed at the Donnelly printer, but printed in 2018. And honestly, the paper stock feels identical. So 8 months later, we saw that. Look at all the Avengers playing a huge part through this. But I did want to look at the internal artwork. So they're using very similar paper stock, printed at the same printer. And the colors looking almost identical, honestly. Just a little bit darker over here than over here. You can tell by Sam's legs. I love the inclusion of all these different artists at the very beginning. They just kind of intertwine together to tell one amazing story. And yes, Time has jumped. Don't think you're reading an alternate story. I made that mistake. I didn't suggest reading Avengers World with this. Because I think that will add a little bit to the confusion since you're focusing on Secret Wars. But yeah, if you want to get a more expanded look at what's going on at the Avengers during this time, read the Avengers World for sure. Yeah, so just a little bit more vibrant. Now, what I want to do is compare the Omnibus to the Secret Wars OHC here. And Secret Wars. This one's actually mapped different. How does it not start with issue 0? Huh, okay. So let's actually get over here so we can do a thorough comparison. Interesting that they didn't kick it off with issue number 0. So there's 1, the end of times. Or the end time, sorry. There's actually a little bit more bleed through over here than over here. That's mainly due to the paper stock. It's a little thicker than the OHC, just a little bit. And also the colors are just a little bit more vibrant and lays over better than the OHC. There we go. Of course, that's what helps when you have a big eye. Let's go back over to this page. There we go. So, just wanted to showcase what they look like here really quick. But that is it. Incursions are happening. Welcome to Secret Wars. That, as they say, is that. If you're interested in purchasing this omnibus, don't forget to check out our sponsors. BD Cosmos, the Canadian leader in graphic novels. They have a physical storefront in Montreal, Quebec, and their website, bdcosmos.com, offers 25% off your order of over $99 or more, and free shipping everywhere in Canada for every order of $250 or more.
Their shipping care is exceptional. Your books will stay cozy through the rough Canadian weather and arrive to you in near mint condition.
After checkout, let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way, and you'll be added to the monthly $25 gift card raffle. Entries are valid for new and returning customers.
Don't be afraid to call or email them. Ask them questions. Their staff is always happy to help guide you towards the right purchase. Visit their website, bdcosmos.com, for more. BD Cosmos, with rewards and raffles taking care of customers in Canada. Eh?
CheapGraphicNovels.com, your online home for graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They have excellent shipping and prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And don't forget, the CGN also takes pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on the hottest releases. And they are currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, after receiving your order confirmation email, reply back to that email and let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way. They will then apply a free shipping promotional credit to your next order in the US. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. And that was the content, the page count, and build of this omnibus. In the comments down below, let me know if you already have the oversized hardcover, or if you just love this event, or if you didn't get a chance to get the OHC and this is your way of collecting it, or if you just collect Omnis. I would love to know all those comments down below, and if you've read it. I really am curious what people think about this story. Leave those comments down below. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications. Everyone, stay healthy and safe out there. Much love.